Hello little autistic people in my phone, and others who might be curious. Hi and hello, my name is Ro, and I have autism. I am autistic. And some people wouldn't believe that. And some people, mostly other autistic people, would immediately be able to tell. Actually, when I was in high school, I told this one girl I was sort of friends with that I had autism, and she responded like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize you were autistic, I just thought you were weird." Shout out to her, honestly. But anyway, in this video, we're going to talk about the autism levels and the controversy surrounding them. My experience is what some would call a level 1 autistic person overall, and what these levels are even meant to be in the first place. Some people enjoy using these terms to describe their own needs. Some people just don't think they're necessary. Personally, I can see the appeal and I would use the term, henceforth the title of this video. Wait. Are the titles up here or down here? Because I forgot. But of course, it's me. We've got to go deeper into this. We've got to learn. We've got to try out something new. Because I know you and you know me and you know that I know that you know that we both that we like to explore every single nook and cranny of every single topic ever existed. And if you're watching this video, you might want to like, you might even want to subscribe. But if you want to leave that until later, that's fine. Take your time, babe. But I will give you a reminder at the end, maybe in the middle, because it really helps the channel. Okay! Let's go. So as far as we know, there's only 3 levels on the autism spectrum. Basically, they're based on your support needs. So level 1 means you require some, potentially no help at all. Level 2 means that you would require substantial support. And level 3 means you require very substantial support. This is a big ass. This isn't even a glass of, like, juice. This is just... This is why a lot of autism goes unnoticed and undiagnosed, leading to mental health issues, because obviously you don't know what makes you you, what's giving you some of these problems in the first place, and why you seem to see the world differently than everyone else. Because if you're level 1, you might not seem like you need support. You might even handle some situations like an autistic person, if not better than an autistic person. And I really want to get deeper into allistic and autistic soon in this video, because I have a bit of a theory that I really need to air out, but that's for later. She's not relevant now. The problem is when people simplify the level system into just how autistic someone is. And professionals can do this as well, which kind of makes you think, do they deserve to be professionals if they're not even getting it right? Like, if I go to have an x-ray done because I broke my leg, and my radiologist does not have a single clue what the hell x-ray really does, and says it uses, like, echolocation to see inside of my body, I'm running out of that hospital like a crazy person. But people simplify it, and it turns level 1 autism into mild autism, and level 3 into severe autism. And I get wanting to describe someone's autism because it could be important in some caring aspects or education, whatever. But I feel like describing someone as severe and not like, oh, Jessica just has high support needs, makes it sound like a disease, which is kind of why there's so much stigma around autism. But as well as that, support needs might not just be fixed like that, because someone might cope well at work but then come home and completely just shut down. I know during high school I used to be completely fine during the day, and then on the car ride home I'd just be completely silent. I'd be sitting there and I would not speak to anyone all weekend because I'd just be so flat out from 5 days straight of socializing. Another reason why the level system might be such a big victim to controversy is the fact that it can make autism seem like something that you can just fit into a box. That you can just label it and be like, you displayed these behaviors, so you must be level 2. Some people argue that the leveling system can create unnecessary categories that just won't fit everyone because everyone has a different experience. Some people would argue the leveling system might seem to some like it's making the autism spectrum just look like a straight line again, and not the rainbow figure 8 that it's meant to be. And in my extensive research, I may not have been able to voice every opinion. So if you have one that you feel like you would like to voice out, just comment. Add to the conversation, your voice is valuable. But in my mind, and a lot of other people's minds, the definition is that it explains what kind of support you might need. Level 1 does not need entirely without support, because I still do need support sometimes. But being level 1 can sometimes mean that people don't take you seriously enough if you do say that you need support, because you might just get a slap on the ass and called sensitive, especially in work settings. And not getting taken seriously is a huge issue throughout the entire autism community, because we are constantly treated like fucking children when we are literally just people. There are children, but a lot of us are adults. We are autistic kids and then autistic adults who can get dirty and drink and drive not both together and get jobs. The main thing with the leveling system is that some people feel more inclined to identify with it. And if you don't and you want to go by that a different way, that's fine. Know that the level system just expresses the amount of things a person might need help with. So if one person needs support with 2 things and another person needs support with 10, then the levels just make it easier, because you can't group everyone together and expect it all to work out. See? I just used the argument against for Supreme Court. I'm unemployed. But anyway, we're going to segue onto the next section, which will basically be my autobiography. So if you don't want to hear me blabble on about my own personal story about being level 1 autistic, then just skip to the next section, which will be about what I and a few others wish that more people knew about autism. I'm not judging you, because sometimes I skip when a YouTuber starts talking about themselves. I have no stake in this whatsoever. You do you. It's my video, but it's yours too. I'm your jester. Okay, let's just lay out some ground rules. This is not a vent. I'm not venting in Maine. This is a detailed walkthrough of my autistic experience as an autistic child all the way into my very early autistic adulthood. And just because I can mask my emotions when someone scrapes their fork against a plate or their teeth, does not make me not autistic, because there is so much more to autism than the bad stuff. Like how we can see things differently from an allistic person, just like they can see things differently from us. Like how we take in more and we feel more intensely. And both kinds of people are wired differently, but having autism means that our brains are wired that we have super focus sometimes, which kind of doesn't work sometimes if you've got ADHD as well, like me. We have awesome pattern recognition, enhanced perceptual abilities, we feel music more, art more. We're often kinder and more honest than those lying sons of allistic bitch. I'm joking, I'm lying, I love my allistic brothers and sisters. But you do kind of owe us, like, an apology maybe for calling us crazy and electrocuting us to make us stop stimming, which is still a thing. It's still happening. Look it up. It's crazy. But okay, we're getting off track. The main focus right now, me. If you couldn't tell from my anecdote at the start of the video, I was the weird kid. I was weird. I used to play with the animal toys alone in the little pit. I'd make up these insanely complex and, like, to be fair, like John Walden-esque stories. My brain made up some insane doo-doo. I'd sit in the corner of my breakfast and after school club and I would just daydream all the time. I wouldn't stop. I'd just be sitting there again. But I wasn't sad. I really enjoyed that. I was having fun by myself on my own. I didn't care. I would actually get really annoyed when someone would come up to me, like a teacher, and they'd be like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you want us to get someone for you to talk to?" And I'd be like, no, I'm fine. People would pick on me and I wouldn't realize that they'd be picking on me because I didn't pick up on the tone or like the subtext of what they were saying to me. Like, why were they always lying? Like, damn. If you want to make fun of me, just call me like a freak to my face. Don't dilly-dally. Don't step around the tiger. Don't tiptoe around the eggshells. I feel like I'm missing an insanely common phrase. But what I'm saying is we could have hashed it out like men. 10-year-old men. And that carried on all the way into year 8. I don't know, people thought I was weird for not vaping and caring about my education. I still don't understand why people will, like, treat autistic people as weird, but I guess we'll just chalk that up to the Victorian people and them sorting out the loonies. And then after that, I began to mask, because I realized, like, what was so different about me, what was, like, you know, causing people to bully me, what, like, I picked apart myself and thought, these are the behaviors that people don't want to see from me. These are the behaviors that everyone else is exhibiting. I may as well just copy those. The holistic behaviors, if you will. You know, like the not saying what you really mean, and kind of, you know, what autistic people can be honest sometimes. Sometimes they can be a bit too honest. Like, personally, I've never been that honest. I've never been, like, you know, the blunt autistic person that, you know. But to be fair, like, if someone was wearing something, like, that I didn't like, I wouldn't care anyway, because as long as they're happy, I'm happy. Bet it looks good on them, just wouldn't look good on me. But I realized, like, you know, what was so, like, different about me. I masked that. And then I started to, you know, ponder and think, like, am I really that autistic? Because I act so holistically. You know, how autistic could I really be if I can, you know, mask this much, if I can act like, you know, the other people in my school. I bet half the people in my school were autistic anyway. I'm gonna save that for later. But then later on in life, I kind of realized that I was masking so hard that it, like, I didn't even realize I was masking at that point because I got so good at it. But just about, like, as good as you can get, like, chopping your arm off. But yeah, but I was like, oh, I'm masking so hard that it added on significantly to my, you know, depression, and also added on significantly to my anxiety of being othered and seen as weird. Again, I'm not venting on Maine, okay? But being level 1 sometimes it can feel like I'm not considered autistic enough, because I love to try new foods. I can sort of eat feta cheese now. I can eat tomatoes, mostly. Not cherry tomatoes. You can F off with your cherry tomatoes. But I love to try new foods. I don't really get overwhelmed by loud noises anymore. You know, I don't really... Sorry, I was thinking about textures that I hate touching, and you know, when you think about it and you feel it, like, on your hands or, like, wherever you touched it in your mind. For me, it's... I can't even say it. But I digress. Like, I'm enough autistic for, like, the teachers in my old high school to come up to me and be like, are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need help? Do you need help? I'm still autistic enough to be singled out. But usually, online, when the bullying starts, people usually go for my transness, so I guess that's a plus. I'm not having my autism targeted, I guess. But I guess my needs are just vastly different than many other autistic people, because everyone is completely unique in their needs. For example, I might ask you to, you know, maybe stop scraping the plate when you eat, like, or try to, because a lot of people don't even notice they're doing that, but I do. And if not for me, then for the health of, like, your kitchenware and your mouthware. If you're gonna change plans, I need you to change them at least 2 or 3 days in advance. And if you really can't, break it to me slowly, please, because I cannot handle last minute changes. Oh no. No, I can't. No, don't do that! Also, if it wasn't also obvious, I crave routine desperately. When my routine becomes unmanageable, I get overstimulated, but when it all goes perfectly, oh, it's smooth sailing. I'm beaming with joy. I don't like to have that, like, shiny, scratchy paper that makes my fingers and head hurt. Which, actually, a good point to add on, because did you even know that some noises for autistic people can actually cause us physical pain? Yeah, because actually some of the wires in our brains, like the pain receptor wires and the sound receptor wires, are like interconnected. You if you know about this, you'd have to comment and like explain more, because I'm only going off what I remember hearing. But yeah, they cross and boom, I loud noises hurt me. Suddenly, when you're scraping your cutlery together, I feel like I'm being tasered. But yeah, being level 1, like, kind of sucks. Some people call it high masking, but I don't really mask. Like, first of all, I think it's just kind of wrong to call it, like, high masking, because that's just grouping all of the autistic experience to be like level 2 or level 3. Like, we're all the same, but some of us just mask better. Some of us just fit in better in society, and we're not burdened on the government's money. But that's what it makes it sound like when you're saying that, like, you know, someone's high masking. Because, like, I guess, you know, level 1 autistic people can find it easier to mask, but like, the high masking thing can also just make me feel, like, othered by both communities, by both allistic and autistic communities. And then I look at my entire life, like, my happy moments, my sad moments, my gleeful moments, my struggles, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so autistic. I don't need to worry at all. And I feel like, although all autistic people, level 1 to level 3, are all overlooked and ignored in some way, I feel like level 1 autistic people can somewhat be the most overlooked in a way, because we have such little support needs that allistic people will just tell us to, you know, grow up and get on with it. But then we also look like allies at like disabled pride events. But I guess that's why they call it an invisible disability. And a lot of people with level 1 autism won't even realize it because it's never spoken about. People think you have to have like a plethora of things that you can't do, or things that you do that are strange and odd and different and weird, you freak. But like, no, I don't require daily help. I can do things on my own. I can communicate very well, and I can maintain relationships as best as I can. But I'm still autistic. No. And I'm still autistic. I know. Guys. But undiagnosed autism can bite you in the back, so I would just say, if you find yourself asking questions about things that don't need to be asked about, or like staring at this one specific thing for way too long than you should be because it's super interesting and super cool, and you've got so many little details about it, and it's so cool and so awesome. And like, you light up whenever you talk about a certain subject, and it just, you know, it's literally your beam of light, it's amazing. Then yeah, the Nile is a river in Egypt, baby. Carrying on with what we were literally just talking about, there are some traits that go way under the radar when you're trying to get diagnosed. Look, do you hate clothing tags? Me too. I've had one itching me the entire day, and I hate it, but I can't get it out because it's too small. And like, nail picking is a stim, which is what I do. Like, I do it, I've been doing it like the entire time. Like, just like here, I do it all day, every day. And another thing, eye contact. Either you don't realize you need it, it just seems weird to you, it feels awkward, you get anxiety from it, or like you have to remind yourself to do it, like me. I had to literally practice how to do it, and now I can't stop looking people in the eyes when I talk to them. Just now I feel like I do it too much. A trait that also falls under the radar, a butterfly. A trait that also goes under the radar a lot would be acting extremely Curious George-esque. I don't mean like looking like a monkey, I mean like being extremely curious about everything. As well as that, if you seem to have one too many autistic people as friends, maybe one or both of your parents might seem like they're on the spectrum. If other people might have clocked on at an early age but you didn't get diagnosed, then I highly recommend that you look into being level 1 autistic. It sounds like I'm like making a video about like the gamified backrooms. Level 1. You may experience the need to examine intricate details of a rock for an hour. And then you get denied a diagnosis because you didn't rock and stem enough for your doctor. That's another thing. It is so difficult to get a diagnosis, like, if you're level 1. Like, for me, it was relatively easy because they got me quite young. They got me at the age that I was making, like, this giant poster with, like, Mind movies written on it that I put on the middle of the table, and I just sat there, like, just thinking about, like, just, like, imagining an entire freaking movie in my head. And I was thinking, the other kids would love this. I can't wait for them to join me at my table and join me making Mind movies because all children do this. That was before like my I have to mask and fit in for everyone like phase, and now I over-examine everyone's behavior, including mine. Is that a bad thing? Sometimes. Is it helpful? Sometimes. But it's also so difficult because most doctors are more interested in level 2 to 3 people and are often very reluctant to diagnose anyone who's not like in their stereotype. For example, if you're not white, smart, and male, which is a trope that we've seen a bit too much. It is the most overlooked and undersupported diagnosis, probably. Sometimes you can't even tell because you're masking so well. Then do you even need to mask? Because like that's a whole other conversation. Do we even need to mask? Should we need to mask? And although I said earlier that a lot of, level 1 autistic people might not mask, a lot of us still do mask. Like sometimes I can't even tell if I'm masking. I can't tell anymore. And masking can be very exhaustificating. Like it can lead to depression, burnout, etc. You know the drill. Anywho, what, when, why. Another thing for us in the community that we want more people to know is that having specific needs is not the end of the world. It's really not. Like asking for just a bit more, like having something explained, like just a bit more literally. My friend told me that, and I can tell we're both the kind of person that if you are trying to say something to us subtly, we will not be able to tell. We can't. If you do not tell me what you mean, I will not know. On the off chance that I do get it, great. Every other time, you may need to just tell me. And don't get annoyed that I just don't know what you're trying to tell me. Another thing is that a lot of the time we don't really show that we're having fun, because it's like sometimes we have to make ourselves make an expression. Sometimes we will be having like actual fun, but we look like we want to shoot ourselves in the head with a gun. I used to dread birthdays and Christmas because I just hate, the anxiety of having to perform, having to, make sure that everyone knows that I like their presents. Because I'd always, open my presents and look ungrateful because I'm just like, and put it down. Because, like, I'm really happy about it, but I just didn't realize, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not that I didn't have enough energy to tell you, I just didn't realize that I came across as, ungrateful. I was having fun, just like how you are having fun. I didn't realize that there was a difference going on here. I didn't know there was mixed signals happening. And I'd feel so anxious and put on the spot because I know I have to say something about every single present. And as I've practiced a lot at like conversation and, showing more emotion, it has actually gotten better. Like I've been able to, that's how I became this beautiful YouTuber. I also want to add on at the end of this segment that I don't think that being autistic is like a separate thing from the norm. I think that society as we know it, like the system we live in, has just been created around like allistic people only. I think society as we know it has just formed around allistic people and like what benefits them most, you know, what benefits corrupt systems more. And I'm not saying that allistic people are corrupt and evil, but I'm also saying that there's not a lot of autistic people in power from what I've seen. And I think that people with autism, you know, shouldn't need to ask for help. I think that in a good community, in a good society that benefited everyone, all our needs would, you know, be taken care of, like, individually. Like how allistic people's needs are taken care of, you know, normally, and, you know, but autistic people's needs aren't really taken care of that well. I think I'm just saying. What I'm trying to get at is that autistic and allistic are both equal things. There's no other or atypical. There's just two different types of people that bring two different, you know, sets of traits into the world. Maybe in like a different universe, people treat allistism, I'm pretty sure I came up with that, like how we treat autism in this universe. And if you're in the dark about your autism, or if you're ashamed about it, don't be. As long as you're nice and empathetic and respectful to, like, you know, the world around you, then you're fine, you're normal, you're fine. You don't have to worry about not being normal, as long as your heart is soft and your soul is kind. And people need to just stop being so worried about being different and actually just do what you... Actually, mini rant time. Okay, so you know those like scenes in movies or like series where one of the characters is wearing something like stupid and weird that they're really happy about, but everyone else is laughing at them because, oh, haha, what an odd thing to wear, that's so stupid, it looks so bad. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just too woke. Maybe I'm that one friend that's too woke. Like when someone is laughing because someone else is wearing something outrageous, I don't get it. I laugh sometimes because, like, if it's like a really outrageous outfit, it's like magnificent to see. Like I'm overrun by joy and like happiness at seeing this outfit. Like, I only have nice things to say about people who dress outrageously. And if it's a joke, if they're like wearing something as a joke, I'll get it, I'll laugh with them. But if someone is wearing something that makes them feel hot and sexy and awesome or handsome or cute, whatever, then that's awesome and I love it. They shouldn't need like external validation about their outfit, what they're wearing, what they look like, because it's awesome. It's low-key senorita awesome. If there's no dress code, go for it. Even if, like, to the general public it isn't aesthetically pleasing, or like maybe it isn't exactly my style, or what I find personally aesthetically pleasing, does that mean it looks bad? Even if it does look bad, does that mean that they have to feel shame for it, or like they have to change? Because if they like it, then who cares? If they love it, they love it. And they rock it. I just can't do this hater behavior because it's not who I am. Just wear what you want, guys. Just wear what you want. Don't listen, don't care. Just don't give a gaff. Okay, gang, that is the end of the video, and I hope that you all enjoyed it. To sum all of that up in just a few words, everyone's normal and fine as long as they try to be respectful and kind. People need to be aware of who they are and what they are, and be respectful of all people regardless of needs or traits. And being autistic in a society built like this does kind of suck sometimes. But do you notice how I only said this society? Because it's only this system that's making autism suck. Autism rules. If you go through life thinking that you're weird and that people are gonna hate you for being autistic, then you're in for a rough ride. Because nobody should care. And the people that do care aren't gonna get through life easily because they're probably mean to everyone they meet, and they can't take anything seriously. And yes, I'm reminding you again to please subscribe if you liked me in this type of content. I'm trying to start a career and to grow my community, to talk to more people, expand my knowledge, and maybe publish a few books. Call me Twilight Sparkle the way I'm writing pen on paper, bitch. Anyway, Have an amazing morning, midday, evening, noon, night, however it goes, and I will see you later if you subscribed.